All right, so going to keep on with this theme, a little bit about software development, and that's okay because it's kind of a tech show, tech focus. And so our next presenter is doing that in a big way, and it's part of a national movement. And it's something you may have heard about. Sometimes we get a little coverage in the news about these things. There's a lot going on here in this town that you may not know about. There's a lot of people trying to make tech a focus of Norfolk and the surrounding area in a different way. We're talking like Raleigh, like Silicon Valley. We're trying to do a little bit of that here. And a guy that's participating in that is Kevin Curry. Kevin's going to tell us about Code for America.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Kevin Curry. I'm going to talk to you about hacking as a civic duty and take it away. So the first thing I need to get out of the way is that the hacking isn't evil, and whoever told you that was wrong. If you don't believe me, believe popular media. You remember that scene in Apollo 13 where the guys on Earth literally had to take this square peg and put it in the round hole? The guys up in space are all going to die of carbon monoxide poisoning? That's hacking. All right, so, and if I'm going to be here trying to convince you of hacking as a civic duty, I figured you ought to know a little bit about me. The point isn't for you to read off all these bullets. I just want to let you know that I'm a regular guy from around here, and I thought maybe you should know something about me if I'm going to convince you of this idea. So this is the idea, right? I wasn't around when this speech was made, but I think we can all agree it has an enduring concept. And the fact is that there are civic-minded technologists all over the country who want to use their skills in this way. Some of them are paid fellows, and a lot of them are volunteers. So it's like the Peace Corps for geeks, only instead of sending folks out into distant lands to teach in schools and build wells, we send them into City Hall and teach us agile software development and how to build cool apps. And the response to our fellowship program is so huge that we needed to expand. We needed a volunteer program. We had about 600 people apply for 25 positions. So we created this idea of the Code for America Brigade, send in the brigade, and we're really trying to invoke that idea of civic volunteerism. But a lot of people, we recognize something that we're really sensitive about at Code for America is that there are a lot of civic heroes in government right now, and we're not kind of coming in and saying, hey, we're here to save you. We're coming in and saying, we're here to lift you up. And so, after a couple of years at Code for America and 10 months into the brigade program, we realized like, yeah, this is the real deal. This is really happening, and people are starting to notice. And it's not just civic tech geeks, it's like mainstream geeks, and like people who aren't even geeks, and it's like on CNN and NBC. So let's talk about the value proposition behind this. It's true, we'll hack for beer and chicken wings. And don't forget that a lot of civic hackers are vegetarians. I made the mistake of showing up with way too much pork at Hackathon. Bad idea. But the point is that the value propositions are everywhere. You just have to be creative about where you look. So yeah, hacking is civic engagement. People getting together to write code and work on data in their cities is civic engagement. And not only that, the apps that they make create engagement when people use them. So, you might be asking, like, why do we need civic tech volunteerism? Like, why is it really all that important? And I don't know if you noticed, but we got a lot of problems in this country, and there's a lot of priorities that we got to deal with, and you stack up all of those priorities, and you got to think the guys down in the IT shop are not getting a whole lot of love. And that's unfortunate because the demand is really, really high, and the resources are super scarce, and you have millions of citizens running around with smartphones. Meanwhile, the guys in the government are still using computers that are 10 years old, and they can't even get to Google from inside their office. So what are we going to do? We got to do something about that. So I want you to know that, like, we get it. We understand. There's a lot of hard work in government, and we're really not so different than you think. There's a lot of powerful stories of civic hackers all around the country, just like me. And here's one of them. This is Drew Carpenter. Drew is in Lexington, Kentucky. He deployed an app called Adopt a Hydrant, and it's an app that allows citizens to adopt hydrants and shovel them out when it snows. He lives in Lexington. He deployed it to Syracuse. I asked him why he did that. He said, because that's where it snows. And I don't know if you knew this, but there are like hundreds of Adopt a Hydrant programs all over the country. They've been doing this offline for 30 years. This isn't a solution looking for a problem. This is a time-tested solution, and we're just bringing it to the web in an era where citizens are increasingly digital. And it's happening right here in Hampton Roads, too. Back in February, we did a hackathon with Hampton Roads Transit, who were awesome at helping us liberate real-time bus data. And the civic hacker who's right here in the audience, Ben Schoenfeld, in about 3 days put that stuff on an app and showed us where the buses are, and it was super cool. And you think if people don't care about this stuff, don't tell that to these kids in Detroit, because they use public transportation every day to get to school. And using public transportation is hard, right? And I think with apps, maybe we can make it easier. Maybe we can invite some more people. Not that we have a transportation problem in Hampton Roads. So what happens, and then what happens if then you can connect with people where they are using the services through a text message. You can do that. This is an app called Texasin that does exactly like that. So all of a sudden, civic planning, city planning takes on this whole new dimension. So how are we going to do this? How are we going to sustain civic hacking as a duty, something that anyone can do? So we found at Code for America that structure and direction really matter. It's not like people want to be told what to do, but they don't have time to figure out what to do. Well, we've spent all the time trying to figure out what to do, and we've structured that into activities. And we're running a campaign right now, and just to prove that point exactly. So we're trying to stand up, we're working with our volunteers to stand up these 4 apps right here, and that's the easy part. It's super simple to get them online. Then we're going to go work with the cities and the folks in city government in the community to deploy those apps and create engagement through them. And you can join us, and I want you to join us. You should join us. Go to brigade.codeforamerica.org. My Twitter handle is KMCurry. I thank you all very much for your time. Keep calm and hack on.
Yeah. Thank you, Kevin. Who knew hackers were nice people?